Hello, my name is Michaela Griffiths, and today I will be talking about superannuation basics. I am a recent graduate of a graduate diploma in financial planning. This video is for people who are new to superannuation and want a simple overview. It explains the basics of super, how it works, and why it matters. But it is for educational purposes only and isn't personal financial advice. In this video, we will go over each of the following topics. What is superannuation? What super is not? Why super matters? Employer contributions, personal contributions, types of superannuation accounts, how super is invested, when can you access your super, one common mistake, fees and insurance, disclaimers, and sources. What is superannuation? Superannuation is a long-term retirement savings system in Australia where money is set aside by your employer during your working life to provide income when you retire. What super is not? There are a few misconceptions with superannuation. To put it plainly, super is not a bank account where you can withdraw the money whenever you want. There are restrictions on accessing the money. Superannuation is not short term money, it is designed to accumulate money for decades before retirement. It is important to keep an eye on your superannuation. However, growth takes time to happen, so there won't be any major changes within your account if you check it daily. Why super matters. Superannuation matters greatly as your superannuation will be your primary source of wealth to fund your retirement. The more you have saved in your superannuation, the more you will have to spend in your retirement. This can determine whether you will have a comfortable lifestyle or a modest one. The government wants less people to be reliant on the aged pension and only have the aged pension to act as a supplement to your superannuation savings or as a safety net, therefore putting the responsibility on you to have enough money for your retirement. Employer contributions. The main regular contribution to your superannuation fund will be by your employer. It is mandatory for your employer to pay the minimum amount based on the current superannuation guarantee rate of your earnings into super. This usually doesn't include overtime hours. The superannuation guarantee rate is set to increase gradually over the coming years. Employer contributions are concessional contributions, which is explained in the next slide. It is important to check that your employer is paying the correct amount of superannuation. Personal contributions. There are two types of personal contributions. These are concessional and non-concessional contributions. Concessional contributions is money you put into your superannuation account before tax, which can help reduce the overall tax you pay. Non-concessional contributions is money you put into your superannuation account after paying tax to boost your super and take advantage of compounding interest. There are many rules and limitations that apply, however, this will be covered in another video. Types of superannuation accounts. The two main types of superannuation accounts are accumulation and defined benefit schemes. Accumulation accounts are the most common superannuation accounts. It is a type of superannuation fund where the investment risk is borne by the member, aka you, and in which contributions and positive earnings increase the accumulated amount and losses and fees reduced the accumulated account. Defined benefit schemes are another account where the balance is determined by a formula which often includes salary and years worked. Generally, the investment risk is borne by the employer sponsor of the fund. One is not better than the other. Each have their own pros and cons, which can be discussed in detail in a later video. How super is invested. Superannuation is invested in a mix of growth assets like shares and defensive assets such as bonds to help grow retirement savings long term. Common investment options include growth, balance, and conservative. At the beginning of their working life, many people have their superannuation allocated to a growth option, and when they get closer to retirement, their investment allocation will become more defensive in order to protect the savings they have accumulated. Accumulation superannuation accounts take advantage of compounding interest. This basically means that the money that is put into your account will be reinvested and keep increasing over time. It is important to note that superannuation can experience short term losses just like any other asset or investment scheme can. However, factors like compounding interest is meant to offset those short term losses in the long term. When can you access your super? It is important to note that you usually cannot access your superannuation unless you reach retirement age or preservation age, or a rare example of when you reach a pre retirement condition, such as having a terminal illness. This is money that is intended to be only for your retirement. Whilst there are many common mistakes or misconceptions with superannuation, we will focus on one common mistake. Having multiple superannuation accounts may happen when you change jobs and decide to have your superannuation allocated to the job's preferred superannuation fund. Multiple superannuation funds means you will have multiple fees and taxes, which will reduce your overall investment amount, therefore, potentially meaning you will have less retirement savings. Please note in some cases it may be preferable to have multiple accounts as one account may provide benefits that the others don't. However, this should be discussed with a financial planning expert. Fees and insurance. Super funds charge fees for managing your money. There is a range of fees and charges that can reduce your balance over time, especially if they are high. Fees may include fees to manage investments, administration and operation costs. All fees and charges must be disclosed in the product disclosure statement. There is a range of insurances within the superannuation fund. Some common ones are life cover. This pays a lump sum or income stream to your beneficiaries when you die or have a terminal illness. TPD insurance pays you a benefit if you become seriously disabled and are unlikely to work again. Income protection insurance. This pays you a regular income for a specified period if you can't work due to a temporary disability or illness. Insurance and fees vary between funds. This is general information only. Disclaimer: this is general information and not personal financial advice. Future videos may go deeper into specific areas and concepts. Specific percentages and figures were not used as they are subject to change in the future depending on laws and regulations. Not all laws and regulations associated with super were discussed. The sources I used were the Australian Taxation Office website, Financial Planning Essentials First Edition textbook by Wiley, and Money Smart Government's website. Thank you for watching.